How do you market yourself when you're working in freelancing or website development or design? This is something that I got asked recently, and I think it's really important because when you market yourself well, you'll be able to do so much more. You'll be able to charge more money. You'll be able to choose what kind of people you work with, and even you might be able to essentially start working a little bit less for a lot more money. And these are all things that I've done in the past, and hopefully some of the tips that I'll share in this video will help you learn how to market yourself a little bit better so that you can apply those principles and start working less for more money with more businesses and people. Now, the very first thing that I think is really important when you're freelancing and you're starting out is having a good portfolio. And this is hard when you're starting out because when you are, and you've just come out of doing maybe some courses or some studies or even just some tutorials online, there might not be much to that portfolio. So it's really important to have some projects that you've designed and some projects that you can really show off to clients. Now, when I mean some projects, I mean maybe it doesn't really matter what technology is used. It doesn't really matter what the end result was. What you want to show is that you can build a project and deliver on that, and you understand how that whole system works. When you do this, you're speaking to yourself and your marketability as a developer of someone who can get things done. So that way, when you do get a piece of work, when you're going out to freelance, then people can believe that you can get that work done. And this is really important to be able to market yourself. And when you're marketing yourself, it doesn't mean just going to any old person and just saying that I can make websites. Can you give me a job? It means that you might get to know them. It's really important to be able to know who you're working with. So for example, if I was trying to do a website for a restaurant, and this is an actual example of someone I've worked with in the past, and I hadn't done any websites before for restaurants or anything like that. I actually went in and I talked to that restaurant a few times. I talked to the owner. I sat down and ate. I understood his values and what he was about. And then I also gave some background about myself, my own goals in life, and they were to help other people, help businesses, and do better. After a few weeks, when I got to know them better, that's when I brought up the idea that I think their website could do better, and I marketed myself as someone who could do that. And I did that by saying that, I'm sure it's just starting out, but I'll be a lot cheaper than anyone else, and I'm pretty sure I can do a really good job for you. Now, when you're starting out, you will have to be a little bit cheaper. You're going to have to come in at a lower price than most businesses can do. But this is part of your marketability. If you can charge less money, that's something that you want to show off, and you want to essentially cover that you're able to do the job at a better price than other people, but you're still able to do a good job. And this is another aspect where when they ask what kind of work you've done, you can talk about some of the projects you've done. And sure, they might not be real world examples, but we'll get to that. At the beginning, you just want to show off that you already have built up a small bit of trust and relationship with them there, and you'd love to be able to help them out. And I think that's a very good way to start off a relationship when you're building something for a client, especially in freelancing. As you do more work, when you do freelancing, you can slowly utilize that to market yourself against the work you're actually doing. Now, when I say this, it's a little bit complicated, but hopefully I can simplify it a little bit for you. When you're working in freelance, you'll get lots of work. And when you're beginning out, while lots of work might be very mundane, might be very low priced, and you might not like the people you work with, slowly over time, you can leverage your work against itself. And when you do this, when you tell other people that you have lots of work that you're currently doing, then you can start charging more money. And you can do this because you're essentially presenting yourself as someone who's valuable. This means that if they want to work with you, you'll have to essentially charge a little bit more. But you have essentially delivered on lots of projects before. So you can essentially talk to them. You can tell them that you get things done. And when you do this, you want to market yourself as someone who delivers projects on time, on schedule, and to the quality that they expect. And if you're working in freelancing for a while, you'll have a few case studies to present. And if you want to market yourself well, it means that you might need a blog or a portfolio where you can do case studies on work now that you've completed. And this isn't just showing that you've done the work. I think to market yourself really well as a freelancer, you have to take them on a journey. And when I say a journey, I mean to show off how you built a website and show off how you might have come across different problems and how you figured them out. How you might have essentially gone through a number of issues or even maybe new suggestions that essentially ended up being scope creep, but you're still able to deliver the project. A good blog or portfolio which shows this whole journey, shows how you crafted the website together, and then where you're able to talk about that with the client, really speaks to your character. You're indirectly letting people know about yourself through your work. And I think that's really important. Everyone can come along and say that they might be the best developer or they might be the cheapest. But not many people can come in and say that here is my work and here is how I created it and how I went through the struggles but still delivered it on time because this is the stuff that I love doing. This speaks a lot more to your character and indirectly your marketability for people to work with you in the long run. And this means that you'll be able to get more work. And as you slowly build up more work and more clients, this is where you start to be able to niche down. So for example, if you want to work with restaurants or accounting or schools, you can focus in on that area. And when you go to more and more of them, you'll be able to say that you're a specialist in this area. You've done lots of examples, and this is your marketability because you're showing off real world to essentially sell yourself to be able to do the work that you want to do in the future. As you do more and more work, this is where you can start to say that in order to work with me, in order to create a website with me, you'll have to pay a little bit more money. This is where you can start increasing your pricing. Because now, as a freelancer, you've had examples of work you've done. You've got industries you've worked with, and you've got a case study, or quite a few hopefully, to show off how you've done that. And you can show that you deliver results on time and on schedule. And when you do that, anyone can work with other developers, and you never know how long it'll take for a website to be developed. I've seen websites take over a year to be developed when they've done them with any old developer that might not have built up that trust and that relationship with the client. And the client is upset. And sure, you could charge your prices higher, and someone will say that they don't want to work with you right now because you're charging too high. You're completely open for them to try out other people. And I've seen this happen a few times, and when they go to work with other people, they find that the results aren't as good. They might be late. They might have a poor level of quality. And this is where they will eventually come back and work with you, and they'll be happy to do so and essentially charge the higher prices that you need to be able to do your work. It also means that you can niche down to the clients that you actually enjoy working with. All of this is due to your marketability that you develop over time. So it's really important to be able to work with that and improve that. And once you do, you'll be on your journey to do freelancing however you need to and however you want to. But anyway, my name is Adrian, and I've done a lot of this. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.